Hello and welcome to another episode of Business Sense. I'm Ralph Rivas. Today, I'm in Makati City in the Canva Philippines office. Their country head, Yani will give us a tour of the office, share her insights about the Philippine market, and tell us where the company is headed to.
Welcome to Level 6. So this is Canva's dining hall. This is where we have our lunches together with all the teams. And behind me, you're gonna see our bar/cafe. So in the morning, pagkagaling mo lang, you've just parked your car, you've just arrived, you can get your coffee here, you can order it on the iPad. And then our barista, you'll see her from behind. Her name is Doreen. She'll make you your coffee or tea or whatever your request is. And then usually in the morning, here, you'll see a spread of food. So usually we serve mga pandesal, salad, soups, eggs, just a really hearty breakfast. And then you just eat it there just before you start your workday. And then over there, that wall, we really like that wall because it's quite sentimental to us. Hey Maro, hello. So we really like this wall because ito yun, when you hit your, I think your fifth year at Canva, you get a caricature and then we frame it there. So para siyang Hall of Fame ng Hall of Famers ng mga people who reached 5 years and beyond.
Yeah, similar to the Australia office.
Yeah, so it's the same. So we try to keep the global traditions alive. So same like this, and also yung communal meals together, we do that in all our offices too. And then to your right, you'll probably wonder like, oh, there's a stage here. We host quite a lot of events, especially nung pre-pandemic. So those are internal events, external events. So usually when we have yung mga global town halls where all the offices tune in to hear from each other, we would stream it here and we can watch it there live. So there, that's L6, and then maybe we can go to the Alfresco. There. So welcome to our Alfresco. This is our outdoor dining space. So usually when we have lunches, you can either eat inside or eat outside. And then to your left, you're gonna see a mural by Archie Oclos. He's one of the great Filipino mural artists, and we really like this artwork because it symbolizes what Canva Philippines is about. So creativity, but at the same time, it's important for us to pay tribute to our roots and the people who came before us. So all our offices, ganun din, you'll see a flavor of their ethnicity and the country of where the office is. And then here, we also have this, it's quite new, it's our pizza oven. So we like yung mga DIY, make your own pizzas.
Yeah, kasi when I went to Sydney,
Yes.
may ganito din.
Yes, although a little bit bigger. This
Yeah,
one is
yeah.
nice kasi it's, you know, yung communal dining is really important for us, yung sense of teamship and community. So that pizza making, so we make it, we bake it, and then we eat it together.
So how often? Like anytime meron ka ng...
Pwede namang anytime, pero you have to prepare. So usually maybe once a week, twice a week, may mga teams that will make it. It's part of their celebrations. Like when they hit a crazy big goal, they're like, oh, we want to do pizza making to celebrate. So our vibe team helps them celebrate. And then over there, it's just a plant wall. It's an herb garden. So it's very farm to table. Our chefs, you'll see them inside later, they sometimes pick herbs straight from this and then add it to the pizza or kung ano yung lunch namin.
So kuha na lang agad.
Kukuha ka na lang, di ba? Kuha
So
na
ano-
lang.
Ano?
Basil.
So okay, we want basil for the
basil,
pizza. Hugas
dito
lang,
na lang.
and then
Yes.
that's nice.
Diba? It's really nice and very parang sustainable, and
Yeah, yeah.
we really want to also do our part to take care of the earth. So this is one of my favorite parts too.
Nice.
There.
Parang maganda din sa...
Maganda din siyang, it's also like a backdrop
Yeah.
for photos.
Yeah, absolutely. hindi siya fake. It's real. It's,
It's
all
real,
green.
and you can smell it.
Yeah.
So that's really nice. Later on, we'll show you then up. So the outdoor area actually continues on upstairs, but we'll save that for later when we go to L7.
Nung nasa Sydney ako, we were free to take refreshments, including beer. May ganun din ba dito?
Yes. Although it's not displayed here, but you can take your milk, your soda, healthy juices. Also, at the same time, we have our beer tap here with local brews ng beer. So usually after office hours, you can take your beers.
Hindi pwedeng during office hours.
in our dreams. No, but para responsible, a mix of responsibility and fun. After office hours, we're free to like drink. And sometimes Doreen, our barista, also makes her own cocktails and mocktails after work so that we can all drink that too.
Okay, that's fun.
Yes. Actually, what's this one?
Okay, ito.
What's that, Dee?
It's iced tea for lunch service.
It's iced tea for lunch. So we're gonna have lunch later. Non-alcoholic iced tea for lunch. Yes. Thanks, Dee. You're gonna have a sneak peek and see our chefs in action today. This is our indoor kitchen. This is where our chefs do the work. On your right, you might see, although it's a bit hidden, it's another mural. It says kain. So parang to symbolize yung food. And then over there, just quick say hi to our chefs. That's Chef Ross, Nico, Addy. There, they're making our lunch for today. So what's for lunch today, Chef?
So we have this
Ribeye steak? Wow. Ooh. So we have steak and salad for today's lunch.
Wow.
So you'll see it's quite busy. They prepare.
You only had vegetables in sa Sydney.
Well, it's your lucky day. We have ribeye today. And vegetables and iced tea from Doreen. So we have a special lunch for all of you today. And then this is where they prepare their food, and then there yung pantry stock nila.
So free kapag sa Canva ka, free ang breakfast,
Yes.
lunch, snacks, merienda.
Yes. Yan. So yeah, breakfast, lunch, and snacks. So yeah, it's a nice perk that we have because we really want to eat together because it's a way for us to bond, share stories, and just to talk about things outside work. So that's really a special part of the culture. Thank you, chefs.
Hi, I'm Macy and I'm the head of growth for Canva Philippines. For the Philippines, we use social media so much. An average Filipino spends about 6 to 8 hours on social. I'm not saying that that's a bad habit, but it's something that is very, very common. So people spend their times on social media platforms, and that's where most things happen. Engagement with other people, interactions, but also that's where they promote their businesses. That's where they engage with their classmates or colleagues, for example. And that's something that definitely is very common for Filipino users at least. I think this has happened, or this has been happening prior to the pandemic, but even more so because of it. People are moving their businesses online for the first time. So people who are not necessarily tech savvy are now having to take their businesses on social media. And it's not really just the e-commerce platforms alone. People are utilizing marketplaces and social media platforms to sell their products and their services. And that's where a tool like Canva specifically comes in. It can help empower the average internet user, social media user, to promote their services and their businesses online with creative graphics and videos that they can create on the go. So yeah.
We are now in level 7. You'll see a flag here. It says people. So we organize our floors in a way na yung teams, the teams are assigned per floor. So here would be people team. People team, yun yung mga talent acquisition team, team happiness, or more commonly known as HR, Canva University, or learning and development. So this is our floor. Come on, I'll show you around. I think the theme of this floor is ethnic tribes of the Philippines. So you'll see it all over, diba? From the murals. We also have some banderitas on display for our event as well. And then you'll see in every floor, there's food. The way to our heart is through food. So in every floor, you'll see my pantry. So what we really want to do is, make these things accessible to our teams so that if you want to take a break, usually, diba, you have to go out, go for a food run or buy something in the store. What you'll see here is in all our floors, we have our fully stocked pantries with drinks and food and snacks, just so it can keep you fueled through the hour. There, and you'll have, if you want to have breakfast then on your table, there's some cereals. Yeah, we just really, our vibe team makes it a point na you can just reach it and then eat wherever you want to eat. And then here is, you'll see another mural. So again, diba, parang ethnic tribes. Another mural by Archie Oclas. We want to pay tribute to our culture. So it's a lot of workstations. So you'll see It's also ergonomically friendly. I'm not sure which ones we can show na it's a standing desk.
Also, okay.
If you want to work standing up, so it's good for your back para mas just physically fit and also just better posture. But at the same time, if you feel tired, you can just put it down and sit down. So it's very open, it's very free as you can see. We have no cubicles, it's really an open space because what we really want to do is foster collaboration among teams.
Now, Miss Yani, I mean, it's all good. The perks is amazing. I mean, a regular employee can just dream of such perks, no? I mean, Canva's really top tier pagdating sa office perks ng when you go to the office, but it's still we're still in the pandemic. So mga ilang percent pa ba ng workers ang employees? I mean, there are over 700. So but not everyone's coming here daily.
Yeah, so when we entered the future of work, yung hybrid work, we really, there's two themes that we want to give service to. So flexibility, meaning people can work where they feel more comfortable in, and at the same time connection. So when we surveyed our teams as well, we listened to them and we heard from them na those two things are really important. Like they really enjoy being able to work from home if they're taking care of a child or a parent or have some personal errands to do. But at the same time, it's really special for them when we come together and bond with our events, ganyan. So it's their choice where they want to work. And right now we're seeing siguro a percentage of parang half-half pa din, diba? So there are still people who prefer to work from home. There are people who prefer to work here in the office some days. And there are people who just want to work here talaga. So the good thing about it is like we don't prescribe what the working schedule is for them. It's up to them as long as it suits their productivity and comfort as well. So we're gonna go to our coaching room. In Canva, we have internal coaching. So what it is that we have a dedicated internal coach for employees that really help us with our career development, and just maximizing our potential. So you want to provide a safe space. That's why the lighting is a bit dimmer. There's also a scent to make it a bit homier, and the couch to make you feel comfortable. So usually in this room is where people really get those conversations to think about their growth, when they have challenges, how to overcome it. And we really just wanted to provide an avenue, an environment for them to feel at ease doing so.
Yeah, and especially now with the pandemic, lots of anxious people. I mean, it's so stressful.
Yes. So maganda, di ba, na may ganito. So comfortable. I personally like talking here and staying here with Cecilia just because feeling ko the way it has been set up also allows for more free-flowing conversation and just a bit more honest and people feeling safe. So there, welcome to our coaching room.
So you were with Canva since 2015.
Yes.
There were less than 100 employees, I assume. And now you have what, 700 employees? So tell us about that growth. As the first recruiter of Canva, how were you able to grow from less than 100 to now over 700?
Yeah, so you're correct. Now, I joined in 2015, September. And then at the time, maybe there were only around 30 to 35 employees. I also joined as the first recruiter, so naturally, part ng job ko nun was to grow the team that was already here. At that time, we already had the foundations. So yung foundations are, we have customer happiness team. So these are people who talk to our users via email to make sure that they have a good experience on the product. Then we also have a big design specialty. So if you've been using Canva, you'd know that inside Canva, there's a lot of templates and there's a lot of ingredients to make your templates beautiful. We have a large team of designers here who are in charge of making sure that we have a lot of ingredients in the product. And then naturally, as we grew our specialties, we then also grew our operations team. So we have a large team happiness, or more commonly known as HR. We also grew our talent acquisition team. So from being like a one-woman team, we now have, I think, over 9 recruiters over time. And then we have our Vibe team, which I think is very unique to Canva. Our Vibe teams, you've probably met them earlier, but they're the ones essentially in charge of the engagement and how the office feels, how the team feels. So from 2015 to today, 2022, we've grown from 35, 30 to over 750 team members. And we're actually quite fortunate because despite the pandemic happening, we also still really grew our teams there, and we are continuing to grow from there across all specialties. So from customer happiness, design, marketing, finance, HR, talent acquisition, you name it, we have it here in Canva Philippines.
So, how does Canva Philippines contribute to the overall growth of Canva Global? Since Canva recently announced that you hit the 100 million mark of monthly active users. So, how did the Philippines contribute to that?
Yes, it's a very special time for us. 100 million is a milestone that we are so proud of, but also as a country, the Philippines remains to be one of Canva's top 10 monthly active user market, meaning marami talagang gumagamit ng Canva here in the Philippines. So we've been able to contribute to that 100 million with our fair share of monthly active users based in the Philippines, more especially in the industries of education. So we have a lot of teachers and students using Canva. We also have a lot of freelancers and creatives, and we have a lot of small, medium businesses who are using Canva for their business. But at the same time, beyond monthly active user contribution, we have to really give a kudos to the team here. More than 750 people out of the 3,000 Canva employees are based in the Philippines, and a lot of what the people know, everything that the people do here are also in service of Canva's goals. So that 100 million is an achievement of all of us here, from people making our users happy and the customer happiness team, designers making beautiful templates that our users enjoy and love to edit, from marketing teams who make sure that Canva is known all over the world, no matter where you are, and our HR teams and Vibe teams who make sure that the people behind the scenes are well taken care of as well.
So, of course, yung sa tour natin kanina, talagang bumabaha ng food.
Bumabaha ng food, yes.
Dito, and that's really a big perk for any company.
Yes.
Now, so any observations on how that's affecting productivity? I mean, kasi dadagdag ko na rin sa tanong Kasi, there's food, you're encouraging people to work here, but of course, there's still the pandemic and, ang traffic in Manila. I've been to the Sydney office, and the traffic there was really good.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. So I guess that's a fact. These are two factors: the pandemic and the traffic. So, but you also have these facilities.
Yes.
So, how does that work exactly?
Yeah. So right now, I'd consider this point in time as the new normal. We've really entered it already, diba? The world post-COVID. We've really managed to strike a balance of what hybrid really means for us. So for Canva, globally, not just in the Philippines, we've been able to identify by listening to what our team members are saying, ano ba talagang pinaka-importante? And they've told us two things, right? Flexibility is really important, and connectivity. So what flexibility means for us is, the new normal means na unlike before, people don't really go to the office Monday to Friday, 7 to 4 anymore. You are free to work where you feel most productive to. And I think that's really important. Like being a new mom myself, right? I've learned na iba rin ang responsibilities that come with being a mother or being a parent. Not all of us are parents. Some of us are taking care of, let's say, sick grandparents or parents. So maganda to be able to give the time back to the team members. But at the same time, we also hear people telling us na what makes Canva special is the connectivity. So being able to collaborate, celebrate together is important. That's why we still continue with our events on-site, but it's hybrid friendly. So our Vibe team does a good job of making sure na whether you're tuning in from Zoom or here in the office, the event or whatever we're doing still feels special to where you are.
Okay, so let me just push it a little more, no? Kasi,
Sure.
of course, food is it's an expense,
Yes.
right? And Canva is more than willing to give it to the employees. But hindi naman lahat pumupunta dito sa office. So why not add that to the cost cutting or cut that from the kasi the 700 employees don't come here every day. So why insist that that perk should remain?
Yeah, the food or eating together. I think beyond food, it's really teams having meals together. Before the pandemic, that's always been sacred to us kasi it's the time where you really are able to sit down together with people who are not part of your team and just get to know new people and collaborate with them or just converse with them. Kahit yung casual conversation. So from the early days of Canva, even before we opened here in the office, our founders have been very keen to continue that tradition. So, I remember my favorite stories from Mel and Cliff would be about the early days na noon wala pang chef to cook the meal. So, Cliff, Mel, Zach, they would take turns or even cooking meals for the team. So that's really para siyang part of our DNA already, and it's something that we want to continue despite the new normal or in spite of whatever we're facing.
Now, let's talk about the Philippine market. Where are we now, and where is it heading, and how does it, where does it fall into place into the entire global strategy of Canva?
Sure. So just to backtrack a little, no, Ralph, Canva was launched to the world in 2013. Kasama na doon yung Philippines. So at that time, we're predominantly an English-speaking market, so we are able to enjoy what Canva has been offering. And we have had early adopters, meaning early people in the Philippines who have discovered Canva and are using it. In 2019, that's when we took a turn, and it's one of our most favorite years because that's when we started looking at the Philippines as a strategic market for Canva as well. For a number of reasons, but mostly because meron na tayong team dito. Ang laki-laki na namin dito sa Philippines. Siguro in 2019, we were around 300, 400 people already. So, it really just felt natural to us to leverage this existing team that's here, and why not extend that to the market? So we localized it, which means we produced a lot of local content, we created local social media pages, Facebook communities, and really just listened well to what the Filipino users are saying and give it to them. So when we started localizing, that's when we also saw a pivotal turn in the trajectory of our growth locally. Today, Canva Philippines is one of Canva's top 10 monthly active users market. We're up there, and we have strong year-on-year growth that shows consistency, and at the same time, continued investment for Canva to keep growing our product and user base here.
Okay.
Our top users right now, they are along the lines of education, so teachers, students, freelancers, creatives, and small, medium business owners. Where we're going is, with the launch of Worksuite, we see a lot of new features on there. Some have been launched, some are in beta phase. The future for us in the Philippines means that we really hope to make Canva the essential visual communications platform for every team, no matter how big or small you are in the Philippines.
Now, when I was in Sydney, I asked Melanie, so what's the big picture here? Ano bang mangyayari sa Canva? I mean, the reporters were basically asking, are you taking on the likes of Google, Microsoft? So what's your take? Saan papunta ang Canva? Are you taking on these companies that have been here, that has been on our laptops for decades?
No, so to me, how I look at that is I think Canva has always been setting its own pace and being in its own race. Nowadays, we see a lot of other products beside us trying to do the same thing. But what that tells us is there really is a shift na the world is becoming visual. So it's more affirmations for us na we are heading in the right direction, and it's just enabling us to just focus more on what we're trying to do. And that's to really become the main visual communications platform for everybody, not just a select group of people, but for all.
Now, with Canva, yung mga amateurs like me, for instance, na walang training for graphic design, is able to do the basics. Kung matatanong mo, yung isang cameraman natin ngayon, nung kinasal siya, yung ginamit niya para sa invitation is Canva. Some of us got our jobs in Rappler using the CV builder of Canva.
Yes.
So, what's the future of graphic design with your current products and your future ones? Since we are able to do it, you didn't hire anyone, so what will happen to graphic designers, for instance? What's going to be the future of work
No, the
especially with this one.
Yeah, no, so for future work, the future of work is really visual. So you see now, diba, right now versus a long text caption versus a poster, people are really drawn to visual content, and that's really what they want to consume. Now, in terms of designers, what does that mean for graphic designers? I mentioned earlier, one of our largest teams here are actually graphic designers. So we want to think of ourselves, and we hope graphic designers see Canva as more of a tool that also allows them to not just make their content more shareable to their team members, but also give them the capacity to work on more impactful things, but at the same time allow non-designers or people who aren't as savvy to be able to make still beautiful, relevant content without much of the help of yung high-touch help ng designer. So it's not really, taking the jobs away. It's less of that, but it's more like giving you more time back for you to work on more critical, high-impact things as a designer.
And actually, yung isa sa mga learnings ko having covered Canva is that it's more than just a design company. You've been helping small businesses and educational institutions
Yes.
for visual learning. So tell us more about that.
Yeah, so it really started in when the pandemic really sort of changed our trajectory in a way. Our focus has been the same, but that trajectory, when the pandemic happened, we really had to take a step back, diba? Kasi we had resources at that time, so we're able to invest. We have people, we have teams. We're able to choose what impact we want to create. When the pandemic happened, we saw schools had to close down almost overnight, diba? And then you see teachers needing to transform physical classrooms into a digital one. So we saw na, okay, look, they have a problem and we can help solve it. So at that time, Canva for Education was a new offering or a new product of Canva. Essentially, it's like a premium version of Canva, but it's free for K-12 teachers. And then the teachers can add their students on the platform, so then it essentially becomes free for the students as well. In the early months of the pandemic, around March to May, we've partnered with Department of Education here locally, where we're able to host webinars. At the time, nagtuturo talaga kami how to use Canva for Education, and we were able to really grow the Canva for Education user base here. At the same time, another industry that was hit when COVID happened was our MSMEs, diba? So they didn't really have a lot of resources at their disposal. So we saw businesses either downsize or close down. So we created, if you look it up, it's Canva for Negosyo. So it's a one-stop shop na nandun pre-made templates, stock photos. Para ba siyang essentially brand kit marketing tutorial 101 for business owners. And then to scale that, we've created Facebook communities for teachers, MSMEs, managed by Canva team members every day. And then so we listen to their feedback, we hear from them, and we're able to really interact to provide them a bit more high-touch support relevant to their needs. So that's what we've been doing so far.
So you mentioned templates, no, Yani? I'm sure you've heard these this shade or yung mga pa-side comment na gawang Canva yan. So what's your reaction to those types of comments? But I mean,
Yeah. No, to me that's just I take that as a good sign in a way where, there's always opportunity to make people aware of what Canva is doing, because if you're really someone who uses the product, or if you understand what Canva is trying to do, I think it would make you feel more empowered rather than not empowered or not inspired. So to me, when I hear those things, it's a matter of taking it as a responsibility to make people aware, what Canva does and what you can do with it. And then usually, even designers, we get a lot of love from designers. Oh my God, like the features on these, for example, one of my favorites is Magic Resize. So, kahit hindi ka designer, di ba, sometimes you'll make a poster, kailangan mo siyang i-resize into a long bond, short bond, presentation. With Canva, in a click of a button, you can do that in a snap, and it's resized perfectly to your needs. So it's just always a matter of making people know what the product is about and what it can do to help you.
Now, let's talk about you and your experience dito sa Canva. You've been here for a while and see the company really grow. Biggest learning and siguro the most challenging event that happened?
Oh, okay. Biggest learning for me, I think, is just embrace growth, and growth really stops at the end of your comfort zone. So many times here in Canva, I feel like I've been in an uncomfortable situation, only because I've had to do things I've never really done before. And then I think in terms of challenges overall, it's just really growing pains, or maybe more recently the pandemic, I think would be something that walang precedent, diba? No one has encountered that before. So it was a really good opportunity for us to flex our critical thinking skills and figure out how are we able to create the culture that we created for the last couple of years now that we are all working remotely. So that was a wonderful challenge for us, and we were able to, I think, do a good job, and now we're finding our bearings and we're almost back to normal now.
Yeah, kasi I think I interviewed lots of executives already, and one of the pain points talaga when recruitment during the pandemic is that you can't, it's really hard to, ang hirap ipasa ng work culture, and it's also, I think, part of the reason why there's a so-called great resignation right now.
Yes.
So how do you keep workers motivated in this socially distant society that we have at the moment?
Yeah, so I think from interacting from their answers, or from the team members telling us, diba, there is a huge affinity as well for the vision of Mel and Cliff and the founders. Yung the two-step plan, you've probably heard of it, pero the two-step plan of Melanie Perkins is build the most valuable company in the world and do the most good we possibly can. And recently she's mentioned like those two can coexist together, not one goes ahead of the other. So that, even saying it now, it kind of gives me goosebumps, pero it's been really inspiring for team members, so it feels like you are part of something bigger than you. But in terms of like day-to-day work, it's really that, like listening to them, diba, parang flexibility, what does that really mean? And do you live by, when we say flexibility and connection, do we live by it? And hopefully we do. By, you can see here, diba, some team members are here, some team members are at home. So you're really giving people the freedom to choose, as long as you're all working towards the same goal. And at the same time, like, we work really hard. Teams work really hard, so we make sure that they're taken care of in terms of whether that's total rewards, celebrations, or just overall day-to-day perks like the food you mentioned.
Now, finally, with the Work Suite launched, and meron pa mga pa-hints, AI is coming. I mean, other companies already launched a similar version already. Mukhang doon na parang itatype mo na lang na make me a Christmas card or a greeting card, and Canva will make it for you basically. So what's next, and how will the Team Philippines help Canva get there?
Yeah, so Work Suite will be a top priority still. So we have a lot of products that are already launched, but also a lot of those that are still in the works. Like Canva Docs is something I'm personally excited about. So that's something, Docs is something that anyone uses, whether a student, teacher, or even an executive or a team member. So I think when that is finally launched, there will be a lot of wonderful welcome surprise with how easy, but at the same time, how intuitive it will be, and it will be the future of what documents look like. In terms of the Philippines, we hope to really bring the Work Suite here, and we hope to bring it to every team no matter what the size is, and we hope to continue producing locally relevant content and just essentially locally relevant experience on the product. So there's a lot in store for Canva and Canva Philippines, and we are very excited to keep growing this year and beyond.
So watch out, Google, watch out.
Watch out!
Okay, thank you so much for your time. This has been a really interesting interview, lots of insights. And thank you so much for being so game and answering the questions.
Thank you, Ralph. Thank you.
And this has been another episode of Business Sense. Thank you so much, Yani, for this episode. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.